Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. I'm revisiting a 2020 model launch a few months after I first encountered it. This is the Moser Cie Streamliner Center Seconds, a watch that I loved initially. I found that I have grown fonder with time. The watch is nicely sized, easier to wear than the flyback chronograph version. It is 40.3 millimeters in diameter by 12 millimeters thick, and as best as I can measure, the total distance across the wrist should be considered 45.6 millimeters, so it's better suited to a small wrist or traditional tastes than the 42.3 millimeter chronograph. All in stainless steel. You throw it on the wrist, and my wrist is 16 centimeters circumference, and you can see down the barrel, the bracelet flares out, and the edges of the case come nowhere near the edge of my wrist. Being 12 millimeters thick, it will fit underneath the cuff, so you could absolutely make this your dress watch. I would recommend it for wrists as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, maybe even 13. This is a watch that is very much on the bandwagon for integrated bracelet steel sports watches, but unlike most, it doesn't plagiarize Gerald Genta. Rather, it draws broadly from inspirations in the 1970s time frame, but none of them are the high horology brands we associate with this class. The case is a broad tonneau that's equipped with a radial lapping machine grain, much like what you would have found on 1970s Omega Speedmaster Mark series like the Mark IV, or even something like the Oris Chronoris Star. Then we have a bracelet that reminds me a lot of the Omega Speed Sonic Lobster Tail chronograph bracelet, but far more of the 1977 Ebel Sport Classic. It has almost a biological armor plate, like something you might see on a crustacean. It has a very biomorphic form to it. It's also beautifully built, as the tolerances are incredible and there's no daylight showing. You can also see the differentiation between the polish and the satin, as well as the transitional bevel on the side. Not easy to do. The bracelet is robustly constructed. Moser went with pin sleeves here, which are durable, but you will need a block and a punch if you want to size this bracelet at home. You can see on the underside, they built in big gaps between the links to avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. And then we have a simple double folding clasp with twin trigger release. So as a sports watch, you want to have that twin trigger set up, so you need to press the triggers to open it up. You don't want it to open by itself, and with twin trigger here, we know that it won't. Here you can see the integration of the bracelet into the case. The case, as with all Mosers, has a fascinating and distinctive profile. It's recessed with polished lips of the case back and the bezel, and then it's satin finished within its hollows. We have a screw-down crown with double knurling on its edge and a Moser M logo. Screw-down crown, the streamliners are 120 meters water resistant. The dial is my favorite part of the watch. As much as I love the bracelet, I'm infatuated with the dial. It is a fume fade, which is Moser's term for a color change from the center to the edge. It gets darker. We have lovely indices on the edge, which are all polished in applique, and you can see that the shape of the indices with their rounded ends identical to the shape of the hands. The hands at center are black polished, and then we have this Globalite luminescent ceramic applique that's placed on top. If you look carefully, you can also see this dial, which is known as Matrix Green. It features a staggered set of hash marks on the side for reading seconds, and that's useful because not only is it easier to read the seconds when the hashes are staggered, but it again references the 1970s, specifically the staggered racing dials made by Omega. Inside the case, manufacturer movement, HMC 200, bidirectional automatic winding with a magic lever winding system, 3-day power reserve, beating away at 21,600 vibrations per hour. It does have a hacking or stop seconds function, and Moser makes the escapement, the recessed bolt, free sprung balance, and the hairspring, all of them. It's very shock tolerant thanks to a full balance bridge and that free sprung balance. And again, it's a good looking movement, a combination of hand finishing and mechanical finishing. It's comparable to what you'll get from the likes of, for example, Gerard Perregaux, Glasuta Original, or Audemars Piguet. So we have this distinctive double crested, double striped Côte de Genève. We have triple finish on the rotor with a bevel on the edge, satination across its top, and then media blasting within its recesses. There's engine turning on the base plate, satination on the wheels where they're visible, and then we have black polishing on the screw heads. Let's do a quick loom shot of that Globalite material and reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.